Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just had to flip things up a little bit because I went to save and then I was like, let me just load back in. And then it put me in a completely different place. And I was like, I don't know if I should film this or not. I didn't. Um, I might, if I remember, I might show it, but I probably won't. Last time we got started on Pet Shop. I'm trying to figure out who killed Thompson. We don't have his file. Um, Basically the guy that runs this creature research plant and breeding area. Let's keep going, because now we have everyone's initial where were you files, and now let's get into the meat of this. Is that everything? Yes, and I'm absolutely ashamed of myself. It is rather cumbersome. Of course, we do have a problem, don't we? Wait, oh, there they are. Note. Are you are you already done with interrogations? Sorta. More importantly, though, Note says he can solve the case. That's good news. What do you need from me? Detective Brian, you've created a trace photo of the crime scene, yes? If we could see the footprints of the creature that entered the scene of the crime, we will know just who our culprit is. From that response... What's wrong? You're making me nervous. Before I explain, take a look at this. It's a trace photo we recorded at the mammal wing just a moment ago. Huh? There isn't a single footprint. That's the bad news. This facility is particularly concerned with sanitation, meaning there's a system that automatically cleans the entire facility at regular intervals. Every day at 3 o'clock p.m., sluice gates in each room slide open and debris that had been collected on the floor is washed down the drain. Oh, no. After our victim was killed, the system activated a single time, so we have zero footprints in the whole facility. What? Then, our creature's footprints are gone. Ugh. That's why he said he wasn't going to be of much help before. Thus, I must apologize. It seems my skill isn't going to be much use for this case. You have no reason to apologize, do you? You don't really have any fault in all this. I'm afraid I do. Whatever the reason, I am unable to carry out the job that has been assigned to me. This is no matter of fault, it's a matter of confiding in someone. And in these circumstances... Huh? Don't worry about him. He gets like this sometimes. I thought he was starting to get better about it, but anyway, these suspects are really grinding my gears. Let's stop with the belly aching and get to investigating. Here, let me help you out. No, this is a matter of my skill, so I don't think you'll be of much help. Whatever, get over here. Well then, shall we investigate the scene? Are you okay, Sergeant? Regarding what? Never mind. We're going to do a memory survey of this place, right? Indeed. If you see anything of interest in the mammal wing, just let me know. I'll read the memories of this place. Let's get into the survey. I need my blanket. Okay. Let's look at the staff only. Anyone could tell from a single look that this door is suspicious. Generally speaking, a door with a sign that says staff only must be investigated. However, it's good we haven't checked behind it yet. What? Why? We have orders from the chief not to investigate back there. Beck made a special request to the bureau. Seriously, that only adds to my suspicion. I agree, but it seems the ties between this facility and the bureau run deep. We mustn't be reckless. After all, we're no police officers. No matter how mediocre our support or the number of restrictions placed on us, we must endure and continue our investigation. Sergeant seems to have her fair share of complaints. What on earth is back there? Probably just stairs leading down to the basement. Huh? How do you know that? vibrations I pick up don't end with heartbeats. When I knock on a door, I can get a vague picture of what's behind it. Oh, that must be useful.
It is. It really comes in handy when I have to take a shot through a door.
That's not what I meant. If there's a basement, it probably runs towards the lab down there. It's probably the only way to get there. Note, write down what we learned on the memory survey. Let's check the step ladder. What's a ladder doing here? Maybe they needed to take care of things higher up? It carries a memory of having been moved recently. Seems it was used elsewhere too. But note, this is no ordinary ladder. It's a folding step ladder. Right. Let's be more precise, Note. Huh? Right. Sorry. Am I bugging you? No, it's just... I don't think the two of us would last very long anyway. What? Where's this coming from? Look at the little piggy. We're not gonna look at the little piggy right now. It seems as though the statements you took are not wrong. This cage is opened at the same time each day. Though I can't tell you the precise time, I imagine it's at feeding time, as the creature handler says. Door looks significantly smaller than the creature, so how does it get out? It's fair maybe making it look bigger than it is. I bet you could tell by poking the thing, but are you sure you want to try? You'd be throwing away a perfectly good finger. No thanks, I couldn't touch the pen in my hair anymore without my index finger. I love how that's like a quirk of his, but it's never actually, it just stays there. The same goes for me. I couldn't do my shit pose without my index finger either.
Me too. I need my index finger to make my finger gun.
And to also shoot said gun. Wait, no, use, wait, is it middle finger or point? And can you tell I've never shot a gun? I guess that leaves me.
You know we're joking, right?
This cage hasn't been opened recently. Must be feeling rather confined in there. This pig looks more fleshed out than your average pig. It's a creature, right? Oink. Is it hungry? This breed is rather famous for its meat. Does that mean that the people here at the Woods facilities were the one who discovered it? Sergeant, was that sausage from before? I think your presumption is correct here. Oink. Sorry, you're far too delicious to be part of the team. I just love this, just out of context. Just no context. You're far too delicious to be part of the team. Okay. Okay. Where is the last thing? Oh. The slots of the drain sure are big. Make sure you don't slip through. Brian said that they flush this place with water every day, so all sorts of refuse must wash through here. This grating has been opened a few times recently. Since I can hear Beck's voice, it must be he who opened it. Why open a grate? Even with openings this large, was there something that couldn't fit past them? Must have been something like a body. I assume they shit on the floor. That should do it. Did you jot all that down? Yes, here you go. Not half bad. But, of course, what's past that door still concerns me. If that's true, you do well to remember that place. However, it's Beck's orders that's keeping us out of there. If we find out what's back there, or that he's involved with the case, even Beck won't be able to stop us from investigating it. I see. I'll keep that in mind. Well then, I need to stop by my car for a moment. Check out someplace else while I do. Why your car? There's something I need in there. Get to it. She's always leaving me like this. Have you found out anything, Detective Brian? I can't say I found nothing more, but...
No, look at this! It's a monkey!
I can see that.
Yep, a monkey.
And is there a reason you're showing it to me? He's got 2 tails! And?
He's cute.
Put that thing back in its cage, otherwise you'll be tried for larceny.
Why are you being like that? He came to me of his own free will.
If you're going to lie, come up with something more believable.
She's right. This thing talks. Look, he says so too.
Right, now put it back in its cage.
You're surprisingly good at ventriloquism. I thought it was really the monkey talking. Ventriloquism? My hairs are standing on end.
Are creatures usually able to speak? No, I've never heard of any creature that's developed the intelligence necessary to talk.
Wow, then they've got all sorts of creatures here. Hey, monkey, what's your name? Human. Kill. Dominate. Exterminate. Restore. Select superior genes. He's got both specific and extremely disturbing ideas.
How's about we cut it out with the jokes? Not enjoying yourselves? Mr. Hawes.
Ooh. Now back home with Anderson. Huh? Suddenly acting like a monkey again?
Of course, he's just a monkey. Have you not figured it out yet? The talking monkey, was that your skill at work? It was. Told you I'd show you my skill when you dropped by the mammal wing. Like you said before, your skills allow you to control mammals, similar to Moko's skill. Although there do seem to be slight differences. Seems like you've gotten a good look around the mammal wing. Well, we've seen what we need to, and what do you think? I apologize, but we're not allowed to disclose the details of our investigation. I do hope you understand. Not about that. About my little friends. Cute, no? And by friends, you mean the creatures. Is there anything else you'd call cute? Right. I mean, I guess you could call them cute if you caught them at the right angle. Yep, you got that right. Reptiles are nice and all, but for all that patented soft touch, you've got to turn to the mammals. Would you like to pet them? No thanks. I still value my hands. And you're just wasting your time. I doubt there's anything left here that'll help you with your investigation. You to conclude that. Must be because you suspect Miss Moko to be the killer, huh? Of course. You know what her skill is, right? So you think Miss Liza Moko used her skill to move her large creature into the victim's office? Of course. Why are you even asking me when you clearly know the answer already?
No. You were just as capable of the act, were you not?
Me? What do you mean? Was it me? Can you prove that? I don't need to. After all, I know I'm not the murderer. A lot of help that is.
You're the type of bloke who only sees the world from his own perspective. People like you make my head hurt.
Mr. Halls, we heard that you were also using your skill to bring your creature bred to the military for the military to feed. Thus, you, like Miss Moko, were at the lounge, yes? No, I don't normally use the lounge. Then, you didn't leave this room at the time of the incident? Not just the time of the incident. I tried my best to leave the mammal wing as little as possible. Why's that? Without a chair to sit on, I doubt you could rest very well in here. It's because of my friends, of course. If I were to take my eyes off them for a second and something happened, it'd only spell trouble for me. Plus, I could just sit on the ladder when I want to rest. I don't really need a chair. By ladder, you're referring to the step ladder over there. Huh? You're talking about my ladder, right? You mean to say that's a step ladder, not a ladder.
You really need to call it a stepladder?
Let's just call it a ladder then. The important thing is that Mr. Hollis does not use his lounge.
But Liza Moko was sure he used that room, no? How does this change things?
Mr. Hollis, the lounge meant for you is the place we're currently conducting our questioning. Isn't that right? Yes, I guess so. Why? Are you meaning to check it out? I apologize, but we cannot disclose details about the investigation. Right, you mentioned that. Do what you will. Can I get back to work? Yes, and thank you for your cooperation.
The way he talks, it makes my skin crawl.
Detective Brian, would you like to investigate the lounge? Let's. It's on the way to the reptile wing anyway. It'd be probably be best to check out both lounges. Though there will probably be no footprints in either.
Still, best to get it out the way. We can investigate what we can.
While Pandy is mysteriously just trying to find anything in her car.
Lounge number 2. I've had this thought a few times now, but these people really don't care much about interior design. These rooms could do with a few decorations. This is the lounge between the mammal wing and the office, so we must be right here on the map, right?
This is a place set up for Mr. Hawes, but he's just said he barely comes in here.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the reason we're using this as our interrogation room is because Beck said the room's not in use right now.
Detective Brian, how's it look? Can you see anything? I'm quite sure Kendrick Halls wasn't lying. I can't see a single print left by him. In fact, the only prints I see were made by Liza Moko. On top of that, her prints were made on the day in question.
Huh? You're telling me that Miss Moko was in here? That's odd. Moko has her own lounge. She clearly stated that her lounge was to the left of the office. This lounge is to the right. What was Miss Moko doing in here?
Don't tell me. Did she have to be in here in order to carry out the murder?
But why come all this way?
If we wish to figure out why Moko was in here, we should investigate every place we're allowed access to. Note, please record the following on a trace photo. I doubt Sarge's memory survey trick will show you anything more. Understood. If there's anything you need to look at, just tell me. Let's get to it.
Clue time! Did we do this? No, we didn't do this.
Investigate. Cabinets is filled with cleaning supplies. No prints in here either. The most recent I could trace seemed to be about a month old.
Like they said, the cleaning is done automatically, so there's not much use for all this.
Detective Brian, you can see the trace that's a month old? That's right. If the trace is well preserved, I can see it years after. Most trace appears long before than that. Those words. I see. As expected, there are no footprints from the day in question in here either. The only footprints I see are ours.
Then the floors here are cleaned automatically as well. That interferes with our case, but it's quite helpful when it comes to cleanliness, no? How about we grab one for our office too?
That might be difficult. This system pumps water onto the floor and into a drain. We don't have a drain, and our office is on the second floor.
A drain? Couldn't I make one of those with a few bullet holes?
What did people downstairs ever do to you? No matter how many times I check, I'm sure the prints on the table were made by Moko.
Why are Moko's prints here? This isn't the lounge she uses.
I haven't figured that out yet, but one thing's for sure, this is very suspicious.
How about checking the door handle? Why? It's obvious that we'll find Moko's prints on it.
Still, we don't have much information to go on, so it would be good to collect whatever we can. Huh.
What's wrong? Is there a problem?
It can't be. There are no prints.
What?
Did someone wipe the prints? No, that's not it. There's no trace of anyone wiping prints or anything. No one has used this handle before us.
That can't be possible. If you want to leave a room, you have to touch the door handle.
Right, Miss Moko's prints are in here. We're sure she was here.
So how did she get out?
Well then, seems as though we've stumbled upon a clue here. I'm glad we did that in that level of escalation order. I think we've investigated everything we need to. Filled out all the pertinent info. Quick and accurate, as expected. I envy the Sarge for having you at her side.
If I were to give my slow and accurate opinion, the most concerning part of this is how Moko managed to leave the room.
Right. After all, there are no prints on the door. The only footprints remained.
Might be able to figure that part out. Hey, note.
Yes? He's right, though. If only the footprints remained.
Why do you keep getting all depressed, Detective Brian? It's not like you erased the footprints. Well, he is sort of like this anyway.
Of course, I'm well aware of all of that. It's hard to overlook the fact that considering the mess my specialty has put you in, I only wish to redeem myself just as soon as I can.
Then, shall we give you a chance to do just that?
Sarge, did you find what you needed?
Yes, a present for you.
A flashlight?
Keep that on you from now on. Do they really need to whisper? I mean, Pandy's just sort of like this.
Detective Thana, seems like you follow the logic of those two.
Of course, because I'm one of them.
At the very least, I've got to try my hardest not to turn out like them. Okay, I'm counting on you. Honestly, I'm not too sure about this, but since it's you who's asking, Sarge, I'll consider it a matter of utmost importance.
It is of utmost importance, and it is something only you can do, Brian.
Understood. Well then, I shall return.
I'll be looking forward to seeing what you turn up.
It's so hard to jump back and forth between Redfin and Brian's voices because they're similar. And then I'm like, I need to make sure that they're different. Like, they stand out back to back. Can you tell I'm not remotely professional? What exactly did you ask him to do?
What? It's not important enough to warrant explanation. I'm not totally sure of what he'll find, so just think of it as an insurance plan.
Poor Detective Brian.
Still, this may be better for him. But, what's our plan now? Are you gonna read the memories here?
And that would be an okay move, but I think it'd be better to move on to the rooms we haven't investigated at all first. There's only one more lounge here, right? Let's go to the lounge that supposedly Moko uses. I'm ready to just see not Brian. Hawks? God, I can't think of names now. This is lounge number 1, the one assigned to Miss Moko. According to her testimony, Miss Moko came here each time she controlled her creature. Wait, hold on. 4, 8, 10. She could still technically control from lounge 2. Because she has 20. Like, hers is a lot further than Hawes's. Hawes's is 4. But Moko's is 20. So she could still control from here. But Hawes would have to control from here. I'm not sure if it's just because they're part of the same building, but this lounge doesn't look at all different from the last. Yet, we're certainly in a different room, so our investigation may turn up different things. Right, shall we try our hand? Our hand? Our Detective Dana really doesn't do anything during these investigations, though, right? Well then, if either of you sees anything you wish to investigate, just point it out. Boop, boop, boom. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Let's start with the door. Sergeant, could you check the memories from the door handle?
Sure.
Nothing stands out. One person regularly enters the room before leaving 20 minutes later, so probably Moko. Why the door handle? Nothing at all. There's a picture frame here. It seems as though this frame hasn't been moved for a very long time. There's a high probability that this picture was taken to commemorate some big event. Huh? This person in the middle, does that look like the vice president? Seems that way. The typical look of an opportunist, and next to him, maybe the victim. Considering how young they both look, this picture must have been taken a long time ago. Who are all these people around them? Well, perhaps we can ask someone about that later on.
What's this? Stock market for suckers? Intermediate level?
The title sounds real familiar.
It's mostly people who want to quit their jobs who read these books.
Could just be reading it because she's curious about the topic. She must be extremely curious to have read the same book cover to cover 4 times. Looking rather desperate, Miss Moko. She must sit here when she's feeding her creatures, right? She's the sort who talks to herself, and Table's memories tell the same story.
She's talking to herself. What's it about?
10% complaints about Beck, 10% gripes with the world, and 80% cursing out Halls.
So, mostly cursing out Halls.
Seems like nothing that will help with our case. Well, it seems like there aren't any memories of our culprit remaining. All we can tell is that Miss Moko used this room often.
Then it's just like her statement. She quietly relaxes in here?
Even if Moko were our suspect, she wouldn't need to move her physical self around. She would just have to use her skill. Then it would be her creature that carried out her dirty work. In other words, investigating this room turned up nothing of use. For now, at least, and for the same reason, it's most likely we won't find any decisive clues wherever we go.
Well then, instead of running around blindly in this case, it might be good to sort out what we've got so far.
Considering I still don't know all the details yet, it might be better for you to sort things out. One way or another, we're only certain of one thing right now. The victim was eaten by one of the facility's creatures. Our problem is who sent the creature into that room. That's the gist of it. Our handlers, Mr. Hall and Miss Moko, are pointing fingers at each other. After all, each has a skill that lets them control animals. The one who isn't the criminal is going to automatically assume the other is the criminal.
Are those two our only suspects? What do you mean?
The vice president, Nine Beck. I doubt the two handlers suspect him.
Vice president? Does that mean you're suspecting Mr. Beck for this?
As far as I'm aware, Beck's skill is coordinate-based object transmission, in other words, teleportation, right? Thus, using his skills, it's possible he could have teleported one of the creatures into that room.
Oh, that's right! Were the handlers unaware of that fact?
We were made aware of the fact right when we stepped foot in the door the first time, so there's no chance they wouldn't have known about Mr. Beck's skill. So clearly, because they know about Mr. Beck's skill, they know it was impossible for them to have committed the crime. You think it was impossible for Beck to have used his skill to move one of the largest creatures to the scene of the crime?
I think there was a weight limit.
That's right. If you check out this document, you'll see it for yourself, Sergeant. I am so sleepy.
But it's 8 meters.
Okay, this is my theory. Beck moved Moko from... That's how she went from this one. Or he switched her from 1 to 2. And then back to 1. Because they all look kind of the same. But the thing is she would recognize it, right? Unless they were in it together. I don't know. Sergeant, have a look at this. A bureau file. If you take a close look at the information written here, you can see that the skills carry certain limitations.
Was that here this whole time?
I see. The weight limit. Right, Mr. Beck. Right, Mr. Beck is only able to teleport under 60 kilograms. According to Miss Moko's statement, the creatures bred for the military, the ones she suspects did this, all weigh over 100 kilograms. I'm not sure about the other creatures, but it would have been impossible for Mr. Beck to use his skill to move one of the ones bred for the military. My question is... Like, we have, like, the markings that make it look like a big dude, but there is still the possibility. I'm gonna look at this. Let me pull up the map, because this is my theory. Now, if he moved her... But she's... Hold on. Okay. So, Hawes is 4. Beck is 8. And Moko is 20. Okay. 4, 8, 20. Okay. If he was, like, here, like, Beck could move him to the feeding room. Like, we're only under the belief that it happened here, but the body could have been moved here. But something would have had to have caused all the hell in the office. So it makes sense to move the creature... I'm just using this one as an example. From here into the office. But there's also the possibility of moving Thompson to a feeding room. Because then that would place blame on them, of whichever creature ate it. The only thing is the fact that they are in the... I think it's in the office. Because he could. Because my issue is the fact that Moko was in Lounge 2, but there's no fingerprints for her to have left. So if Beck was working with her, Beck could have moved Moko from here, controlled this one, but she'd be able to control him from here. Because even if she's like over here, 8, 14, 18, she'd be able to still control from here. She just wouldn't be able to control from this feeding room over to this, like, the opposite end. But if it was, like, closer, or she was closer, then she could. Indeed, as the situation stands, 9 Beck can't be our culprit. This time, you took me out with a single shot note. Why did she get British all of a sudden? It's sort of a given. You were out of the room during Mr. Beck's interrogation, Sergeant, and you were never able to get a good look at his file. And Detective Thana. Detective Thana? Should I just head home? No, you're clearly... give me a second to think. You were busy carrying out the actual interrogation, right, Thana? Yep, I guess she was, huh?
Yes, that's it.
Regardless, the handlers seem to agree that it was impossible for Mr. Beck to have committed the crime, which was why they suspect each other. For now, let's exclude Mr. Beck from our list of suspects. I don't trust him. Well then, let's summarize what we've learned so far from Hawes and Moko's statements. Focus and open your ears, everyone. The estimated time of death of the victim lines up with the creature's feeding time. At that time, the two creatures' handlers normally lead their creatures into the feeding areas. Of course, they're each using their animal control skills to do so. Was there any difference in the way they went about that? If there was any difference, it's that Moko went into the lounge, number 1, before using her skill. But it seems that Mr. Hawes used his skill without leaving the mammal wing, right? And of course, there's a difference in the animals they're able to control. Moko is able to move creatures from the reptile wing, and Hawes is able to move creatures from the mammal wing. That's rather interesting. If you take a look at the map, Hawes was considerably farther away from the crime scene than Moko. That's right, but using their skills, both of them would have been able to move their creatures to the crime scene. No, he wouldn't, because... Like, she would, because, again, the 20 meters, but his is only 4. So, if he's here, he'd only be able to go here. So, it's possible that either of them carried out the crime, thus why each of them suspects the other. No, why are you so quiet? Did you figure something out? It's just, I'm a little surprised by the accuracy of your summary. That's mean. I'm going home. And of course, I did figure something out. Part of the summary you just gave is bothering me. The part was, well, let me just explain it using the transcript. I cannot stop yawning. They wouldn't be able to because Hawes is only 4. So he wouldn't have been able to. In order for Miss Moko or Mr. Hawes to have murdered the victim, they would have, of course, have had to use their skills to move the creature to the crime scene. However, one of our handlers would have been unable to move a creature to the crime scene.
What? How so?
Just as the sergeant said, the two handlers were different distances from the crime scene. Lounge 1, where Miss Moko was, is right up against the main office. The mammal wing, where Mr. Hawes was, is over 8 meters away.
What's wrong with the of course. Their ranges.
That's right, Moko can use her skill on anything within 20 meters, meaning she can use her skill from the lounge to bring creatures in the reptile wing. On the other hand, Mr. Hawes only has a range of 4 meters for his skill. If he was using said skill from the mammal wing,
He couldn't reach that far. That means...
indeed, Mr. Hawes would have been unable to commit the crime with his skill. Then our criminal is probably... Before we get to that, there's one more thing I'd like to check. And that will happen next episode. Let me make sure. But yeah, like, we're gonna wrap it up here. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more Staffer Case. I'm only doing the outro right now because every other time I've done it trying to time it, it's messed up. And so, like, part of it shows, so I'm trying to get ahead of it. Huh? What might that be? I just read through the statements, and it seems that Hawes never made an official statement that he was in the mammal wing. Huh?
But now that you say it, when we met him in the mammal wing, he never said for certain whether he was there at the time of the incident.
I don't think Hawes was aware of his skill in trying to trick us. But there's still the possibility that Hawes has somewhere other than the mammal wing when he used his skill. So we better be sure before we jump into any conclusions. Was Hawes actually in the mammal wing? If not, was there somewhere else he could have been? Is there evidence that Hawes was at the mammal wing around noon? Do you have anything that can prove that? We will potentially prove or disprove that next time. Damn it, I thought we were going to go there. We do. Here I am, trying to be productive, trying to do my outro at the right time, and I'm trying to make it, like, line up. This is, like, my one issue when it comes to doing some episodes, is, like, trying to line things up just doesn't work. And it's better in post that I'm trying to figure it out. Now that I think about it, we asked Mr. Hawes why he didn't use the lounge later on outside his official interrogation. He said he didn't like to be away from the creatures in the mammal wing. He went on to say something else. He said that though we had no chair, he'd often sit on the ladder. The ladder? The step ladder. Ah, you should have called it that before. According to the trace photo, there's evidence that someone was sitting on the ladder in the mammal wing. What time was that trace left? 12 on the nose. Good. That lines up with the feeding time for the mammal wing. All of the footprint evidence was washed away, but there's other trace evidence in its place. I wish Brian could hear you say that. Indeed. I'm still alive, you know. Right, and working hard. Regardless, the important thing right now is that Hawes couldn't have used a skill like that at the time of the murder. So, to just put it out there once more, someone sent a creature to the scene of the crime. I've only got one person who could have done it. Hold on. What were the other times? But there's handprints on the ladder at 12:20. So he got up at some point at 12:20. Just saying. Eliza Moko, it seems as though we found our culprit. Okay. Now we've hit the logical, and now that's going to be it for the episode. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.